Hey everybody, it's Marco, and welcome to another pencil mark video. This is probably the video that I have wanted to make ever since I started this channel. And yeah, I finally got around to sitting down and recording this one. This is the one and only cipher liar yajisan-kazusan, a puzzle that looks very, very intimidating on first glance, but it should be doable, question mark. Yeah, so let's break this down. This is one of Jamie Hargrove's signature puzzles, and I really wanted to record a solve of this on video. So let's get with the rules here. First of all, the regular yajisan-kazusan rules, if anybody doesn't know them. It's an old Nicoli puzzle type with some very nice deceptive clues. What you do here is, you can see in the solution, each unshaded clue here, it points to exactly the number of shaded cells in the direction the arrow is pointing. Or like it counts the shaded cells in the arrow's direction. So this 3 sees 3 shaded cells. However, there's a 3 here. The clue itself gets shaded, and now it doesn't count anymore. So it can be true or it can be untrue. So that's the basic idea. And in this little cipher liar variant, there are 2 additional constraints. First of all, there's a one-to-one number letter cipher. So each number has been replaced by a different letter. And also, different letters are different numbers. So C and B can't both be 0, say. And also, there is 1 liar clue in each row and column. So if this clue is unshaded, then whatever it points to is not the number. So if it is a 1 clue and it's a liar, it can point to 0, it can point to 2, it can point to 3. It cannot point to 1. However, a liar clue can also be shaded, in which case it's the same as a liar clue that's unshaded. I mean, in which case it's the same as a regular clue that is shaded. Right. So let's get to it here. This is the puzzle itself. I've just moved it over to paint. Let's use a lighter green here for unshaded cells and a dark gray for shaded, so we can still actually, let's use light blue for unshaded, and then we can use green and red for liars and non-liars. So the first thing that I see here is the 4 C's in a row here. These 4 clues. The thing here with 2 clues adjacent to each other, in the rules we have that, shaded cells do not touch orthogonally, and unshaded cells form an orthogonally connected region. So if 2 clues are next to each other, then only one of them can be shaded at a time. So only 2 out of these 4 cells can be shaded, and only 1 out of the cells in a row can be a liar. So one of these C's has to be unshaded and also telling the truth. That's why our first deduction here is that C is 0. The B's here are also calling to me because they're very restricted, right? They're all pointing up. Though actually, I guess what we can do is we can do a shading like this. It's still possible for the B not to be a 1. If this clue here is, let's say, a 2 clue and a liar. Let's look for other clues that point very close to the border. Like, there's another B clue here. There's another A clue here. There's a D, there's an F. I feel like at least one of these has to be a liar. Because, like, one in this group of four, or two. Because in a 2x2, we can only shade two. So F and B, like, they can both only see a maximum of one cell here. Same thing if we have it the other way around. D and A can both only see a maximum of one cell. And there's also E and B at the bottom and over here too. Right, okay. I think we can do a similar argument to the C's at the top, where we said that one of them has to be unshaded and a truth teller. Among these two, like at most one can be shaded. Same thing here. And then in the entire row, only one of these clues can be a liar. So one of these is in fact a correct unshaded clue. And because of its distance to the edge, it has to be a 1. So let's just write 1 is B or E. Right, and now we have this this little 2x2 area here. We know that like between the F and the A clue here, one of these clues is unshaded and pointing to at most one cell, but we have our 0 fixed and we have our 1 fixed between B or E. So that means the F or the A here, that is the liar in this column. So let's mark all the other clues here in green. So we know that these are in fact, well, I guess the truthers. Right. Oh yeah, for the one being B or E, we have a similar pattern here. Though I'm not sure if we can use that yet. And I know I did say that we can have a checkerboard like this, and that would still be fine if B is 1. Like, that would still be okay as a truthy clue. But we could also have this pattern where both the D and the A are liar clues. So that's a headache. This puzzle. What other clues are 1 or 2 away from the edge? So we know the F here is either shaded or a liar because it's pointing to at most 1, but it can't be 1 or 0. We have our thing with the B's here. I guess we also have a C and a B here pointing to the edge. Actually, do we have to shade these C's? Well, no, not yet. Though, actually, I do think, yeah, the next logical step is probably in this second to last row here. We know the C is 0, and then either B or E is 1. What if we said that E is 1? I think that leads to a contradiction, because if we say that E is 1, then we need to shade this B clue that we have identified as a truthy clue. Right? But then C is a 0 pointing to a shaded cell. That's not right. So the C would have to be a liar. And this would be shaded because the E here is telling the truth. But then we would have to shade the B clue on the other side. And that leads to a contradiction here because the C clue is now a 0 clue that is also telling the truth, and it's pointing to a shaded cell. So that cannot exist. I would have to say here that the 1 is the B clue. Whoops, let me fix that real quick. And also let's, yeah, get rid of that case stuff. So what we know for sure now is, yeah, B is 1. B is 1, C is 0. E is definitely bigger than 1, so these E's that are facing the edge here, they're either shaded or they're liars. So if the E is shaded, let's use gray here. If it's shaded, then the C has to be shaded or a liar, I guess. If it's unshaded, well, I guess it can be, if it's unshaded, it has to be a liar. It's not quite leading to anything yet. Oh, right. This E here in the 4th row. Now we know that this is, we established before that this is a true clue, and it's pointing to the edge. Not enough distance to have at least 2 cells. So this is actually going to be shaded. And the rest of the stuff around it is unshaded. We got one. We got a shaded cell. Finally. Now this B is 1. It can be either be true or it can be false here if that cell is shaded. But now we know the F clue here, that is going to be the liar because it's unshaded and it can only see 1 max. That means this A here, that is shaded. And also it's a truthy clue. all of these on the row are now not the liar. D has to be shaded. So B is unshaded here. These are all unshaded. We can't shade this just yet because B here can still be the liar. Same thing here. It is still possible to shade this if this B is lying. Oh, but with this C being 0, we can't put a shaded cell in front of a correct 0 clue. So this cell is now unshaded, meaning that E, well, that's got to be 2 or 3. So let's note that down. The D clue here, well, that's restricted to 4 now. Let's say 2, 2, 4. So that can be 2 or 3 or 4. F clue, all we know for that is it's not 1. A clue can still be anything, I think. We can still have all. We don't have a restriction on A yet. F, I think, is still anything from 2 to 5. I guess similar to the C's at the top, we know that one of the F's here at the bottom is a true clue because only 2 can be shaded and 1 can be a liar, but it just sees everything going up, so I don't know about that. There's not a lot of A clues at all. Like there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I guess the 6th one is covered up. So I don't think the deduction is there. I think there is, if E is 3, then I think there is a break that happens. Because if we go down here and we do, you know, the 3 pattern in Yajikazu, this E here is now a liar because it does not see anything, right? But then this B, it sees 0, and there's already a liar in the row, so it's got to be shaded. But then the C behind it is a 0, and it sees 1. But we can't shade it, and we can't make it a liar. So that turns into a break. So I think we gotta say that the E is in fact 2. The D, that is now fixed to 3 to 4. I need to get a better setup here. Sometimes paint is a little bit frustrating. E is now 2 then. Does that give us anything at all? I'm not quite sure. Sometimes I don't think. It's difficult. I'm trying to think if F can be 4 with the given clues here. Or 5 or 3. But it's a little bit, yeah, difficult to catch. A and F are set to be at least 3 though. Yeah, let's just write 3 plus for both those. I'm in a bit of an impasse here. I'm trying to think of how the liar clues interact. Like there is a thing, if this B was lying, then we would have a shaded cell here and an unshaded cell going here, meaning this B is also lying. But that just sort of gives us nonsense, so that is not actually helpful. I guess the bit of a longer form is if this B is lying, then we would have a shaded cell here. Then we know this B, which is telling the truth, cannot see 1. So this is shaded. Which means the F would be telling the truth and seeing 3. Then we would need to shade A. Nothing really breaks there. So what else have we got? I have a broken record. I'm so sorry. I'm again trying to look at the positions of all the letters. I think yeah, we can let's elaborate on the earlier thing a bit. Among this BFB group here, I think the liar is among the three of them. Like if the F is shaded, it's got to be that this B is lying here because it sees at least 2 and it's a 1. If the B is shaded and the F here is not the liar, it's got to see at least 3. But that means this B is now seeing 2. So that would be the liar then. So the conclusion is that this F and this A are not the liar in that row. It's a bit complicated, but at least it's something. I'm not really sure what that gives us here. It doesn't narrow down the numbers at all. We can still have a case where if this F is shaded, then this B has to be the liar. Then this B has to be shaded. Then this F is unshaded and sees 3. If the other case is that this is unshaded and it sees... Yeah, and then it sees at most 4. So we can also say that F is 3 or 4. There, I think we got it. I think we got it. The break in here is that now F is restricted to 3 or 4. That means A can't be 3 or 4 because D is also 3 or 4. That means A has got to be... I guess we can't even say it's 5 because it's possible that all of the A clues are like either shaded or liars. So let's just say 5 plus. And now I don't think it's possible to unshade this A clue. Because if we do, then the shaded cells drop in these places and B and both B's would be liars then. So this A is shaded. Yeah, right. The E was shaded before, so that's still fine. I was a bit confused there. So yeah, that A is shaded. This A is definitely shaded as well. Now this A, it can only see a maximum of 3, so we know this is a liar. So let's mark the other clues in that row and column as truthy. Now we can resolve the B pattern that we saw at the start. Because these are all ones and are pointing up, we can, like in both cases, it's either this cell or that cell being shaded. And the only way to resolve that while keeping connectivity for the unshaded cells is this zigzag here. Now that these C's are unshaded and pointing up, we know that these are telling the truth because they can't be, yeah, read and marked as liars now. This A here on the edge, it sees at most 3, so this has got to be marked as a liar. All the other ones here are truthy now. That means this F has got to be shaded because it cannot see 3 or 4. This B, oh yeah, because this A is marked as a liar, this B is telling the truth now, so this F is unshaded. But we've still got to mark the liar between either this F or this B. I guess we can maybe determine if D or F is which one of those is telling, I mean, which one of those is 3 or which one is 4. And that might help disambiguate that. Yeah, this B has to be unshaded now that we have the C marked as not the liar. That means we either have a shaded cell here or a shaded cell here. In both cases, we need to shade this C. So we've got the F pointing up to 3 or 4 cells. That means we can't unshade this and shade those two, because then the C is truthy and pointing to 2 shaded cells. So we gotta shade that C. I also don't think we can have F as 4 now and shade both of these, because that would make these 2 cells unshaded, and then we can't fulfill the 1 clue here anymore. So that does restrict F to being 3, and that means D is 4. Can we do something with D being 4? Where are the D's actually? There's not a lot of them. Right, but there is this one in the row 4 from the bottom. That means we can fill in a shaded cell on every other one. Hmm. Okay, what now? Right, for this F pointing up, I think we still can't do a shaded cell here because this would need to unshade both of these for connectivity. So this cell is shaded. And that gives us our F, R3. We do still need a liar in each row and column. So placing those might be like the last step. The A here, it could still work as a 5 if we shade this cell. Hmm. I'm trying to see the F and B interaction here. If the B is telling the truth, then we cannot unshade it. Because it would be pointing to 1. So we can't shade anything more. But then the F clue here breaks. So actually, yeah, among the F and the B, there is a true shaded clue and a false unshaded clue. That's still fine. But either way, this cell here remains unshaded. We either have that, or that. Right? Yeah. Either way, we can unshade this cell. Oh, I just caught something very interesting. In the second column, we have two cells we know. One of those is the liar in the 6th and the 9th rows. And we have the same thing in the 9th column here. That this E or that E is the liar. This is sort of like, I guess, a Sudoku X-wing. So what we can do is we can mark everything else in those 2 rows as true. That means with this B here, we get a shaded cell here and an unshaded cell here. Now we have this cell or that cell being shaded. Both of those force an unshaded cell here. This cannot be unshaded and make everything else unshaded here because then the 1 clue breaks. Now with this B, we need to shade this cell. I guess with this B clue, either shading this or this, it forces this cell to be unshaded. Right, that gives us our F at the top here. that is locked into these two positions now. This B, it sees 0 now, so that is going to be the liar. Whoops. That resolves the X-wing. This A, it sees 5 now, but we can still make it a liar if the clue is a 6. Sheesh. Depends on if this B is true or false, I guess. I looked a bit, but I can't see a similar X-wing pattern elsewhere. This B here in row number 8 makes a shaded cell either here or here. This F here has to be shaded because it can only see max 2. This F here sees only, well, I guess it can see 3. Oh, but this F here, it makes this cell shaded, and one of these two cells has to be shaded then as well. This C here, now that it is shaded, it can still be it can be true or false, I guess, because shaded clues don't matter. It just matters that we have one liar clue in every row and column. We cannot shade the C here because that forces a shaded cell here from the 3 clue on the left, and that gives us no connectivity, so this is unshaded. We're so close here. We just need that last little bit. Right, this F here is a 3, and this B here is a 1. It's got to be one of those two being the liar in that column. So the F has to be a true clue, actually, which means we have to shade that and make the B the liar. Which means this F here is shaded but true. So now this B here is the liar because it sees 2. The F here has to be telling the truth, and we unshade this to make the F see 3 properly. Now that the B here is the liar, this A is true, and yeah, we can just safely say that A is 5 now. I think this F at the bottom needs to be shaded because one of these Fs has to be the liar clue, And if we unshade the F, then they both see the same exact amount of shaded cells. So we can't have one of those telling the truth and one of them being the liar. So this F is shaded. If we unshade this F, we have to shade both of these, which breaks connectivity, so this F is shaded. D here has to be either shaded or a liar, because it can't see, can't see 4. With this B, we still have the information that either this cell is shaded or this cell is shaded. That's got to be something for connectivity. What else points up top here? We only have 3 rows and 3 columns where we need to place a liar now. If we shade this cell, then our liars are D, which forces the C to be a liar, which makes the liar here F. That means all other clues are telling the truth. But that can't happen because this F here would need to shade this cell, which means we can't shade 3 cells for this F. It's a little bit look-aheady, but I think that is justifiable to say we need to shade this D. That means we need some cell connectivity here, which gives us this E definitely seeing 2. And this wall over here also means we gotta unshade this, which means this F is shaded. It can now either be true or false. This B is now unshaded. These see the same, so one of those has to be a liar, which means this C up here is not the liar. So the liar in the first row is this F, which means, yeah, it's not this D. Now we either have this configuration or that configuration. But this F has to be lying for sure because it can only see a max of 2. Right, and that's all lies we have here. We know this F is now not seeing a third shaded cell in that row. And this B has to be seeing 1, so all of that is unshaded. And that is a completed cipher liar yajisan-kazusan. Holy crap. I managed to get that under an hour, which is, I think, fairly good for this puzzle. It's a very, very complicated puzzle. And I hope I managed to sort of explain it semi-coherently. I know I blanked out a lot of times in this puzzle, but that is just the nature of yajisan-kazusan. There are a lot of clues, some of which are just sort of garbage there for you to ignore, some of which hide a very complicated deduction in their combination. And yeah, these two constraints did not make it very easy to solve either. Like, they both added their own layer of complexity, and the fact that they were combined made for a really tricky puzzle where, you know, the truth and lies were almost indistinguishable. But we powered through, and we have our solution here. Thank you all for watching here. Who am I kidding? Who even watches 50 minutes of yajisan-kazusan logic? But if you do, I very much appreciate it. And I hope you have a nice day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.